Hello, good morning my dearest friends. How are you doing? Thanks for coming on to this video. I'm fairly certain this one's going to go all over the place. Goodness me, I just caught sight of myself in the viewfinder. Let's get some glasses on and cover those bags up, huh? Okay, well now you know I've not been around for a while. I was going to do a lost lyric reading here. Just as I was getting set up, a song started writing itself, and I'm trying to keep it down a little bit because my mouth is seizing up, hence the pauses and everything here, you know. So trying to get it back in and find some muscles. So my ability to make even recital videos is going to go very soon, because fairly soon I'll not only be immobile, but I will be well, jaw immobile as well, I guess. Sorry, my eyes got distracted by Scooby-Doo over there. I get asked sometimes about the on my videos of the songs, the photo montage that's playing in the background. I make those because they all have a relevance and a pertinence, so they're different ones. But the reason why there's so many Daphne Blake, why I say so many, I think there's 5 Daphne Blake pictures on them, spoiler alert, is firstly, she was my first ever crush. I don't know what I would have been, 10 years old, I guess, back in, well, I was born in 61, so I'm 61 now, so I guess around then. And secondly, the wonderful Judy Bailey, who has long since changed her name so I can use her, but she knows who she is and was and will be. Looks exactly like Daphne Blake. Judy, there's nothing at all to do with anything at all. It's just pure coincidence, a happy coincidence for myself. What on earth was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was going to do lots. So I'm doing something that I very rarely do at the moment, which is I'm trying to stifle a song, so it's bubbling away. I've got the title there, and I know the content, but I have to get this down, really, because I'm making these videos, as I've said before, mainly for my children. No, the laptop has seized up. Goodness me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What the heck has gone on here? I hate laptops so much. Or rather, technology has it. Hey, you want to see something here? Oh, so I may have a new book out, and it is called Dun Dun Dun. Pretends it was a pause for dramatic effect, but it's really a pause for his mouth to work. And also, because I can't think now, oh, compromise not pictured. Dun dun dun. So that is the provisional title. I think it's up to about 78 pages at the moment, and I'm going to... Every time I turn that light on, I try to get in on the act. If you think that these bags under my eyes, these death bags, are bad, you should see what happens if I didn't have a great big eye light shining. You can probably see its reflection behind in the glass. I don't know if I move my glasses back. See how big it is? Oh, grasshopper from Quachain Kane, wasn't it? I don't know if you can even say that word anymore. Everything is so wrapped up in correctness these days. But it was just a pure imitation of something that was a genuine portrayal in any case. So, what was I talking about? I don't know. I know there's a new song bubbling away in my head there. So, oh yes, yeah, so I was going to tell you, and that was what I was going to do on the Lost Lyrics read. I may come back to it. This is going to go. But someone's just emailed me because this is England. Ooh, giving the game away though. Okay, well this is... Here you go. This is genuine, this is. So, in the previous videos, I think I said something like I was trying to get my will in order, and so I've not been making videos for a while. And that happened this week, so I contacted 5th solicitor in 3 years. And now he comes Wednesday, and oh, so you've got no next of kin? I mean, I do, but my next of kin are my beautiful babies, who are, of course, mine. Oh no, they can't inherit until they're 18. We'll have all their money until we're 18, run lots of admin charges. And I was trying to explain to him, so I wrote to him, I would never tell you a lie, my lovely viewers. Everything I tell you is true. Where are we to here? Read children's accounts. Read my assets. I do appreciate that you are solicitors, not salesmen. But I must reiterate again of the care that needs to be taken. I should do this to music, and then it would be a song. Then it would be a lost lyric. It is not just a case of selling assets via agent to his, quote, achieve best price. You also need the best agent, and for each asset. An example. Last night I sold a Werewolf by Night Marvel trade paperback for £90, half its value. This book is almost... I'm talking. Thank you. This book is almost in, and it's graded mint, so it's worth that. The point is, my comics need to not only be sold for the best market value, and you're looking at November 23, not through the... but you need to, taking out some of the irateness that was in there, you need to take into account the condition, comic book grade condition, market value, which equals acceptable realization. With the exception of myself, I don't know anyone in England who knows the value of comics as well as the value of guitars. So my guitars will need selling separately by a separate agent, because I've got about 17 guitars left. With the exception of myself, blah blah, rare vinyl and DVD. Doctor Who Series 12 Blu-ray Collector's packaging equals X £100, standard edition equals £40. Doctor Who Web Planet Panel, Bob Dylan Time Out of Mind CD, £1. The Japanese Blue Spec editions, mine, £60. You see the cost pitfalls. So I think that's pretty detailed, pretty self-explanatory. And I even say, if completely uncertain, Dylan is 18 in 7 years and 23 days' time. Well, I'm lying to you there, because this was written 3 days ago, so it's a bit younger now. I currently pay X £100 a year for my York storage unit. So, in 7 years and 23 days' time, this comes around £5,600. Just put all the variables in storage. Look in on them once a year, pay the insurance premium once a year, and Dylan can sell everything of value himself when he's 18. That's pretty comprehensive and detailed and everything. And this is what I got back with a charge. Dear Mr. Murphy, thank you for your email. Please find attached following documents. Client care letter, your draft will commentary, letter of explanation. Once you've had the opportunity to consider the draft, please let me know your thoughts. Kind regards. Now, why do you think that lawyers and solicitors have got such a bad reputation, huh? Where is there any answer of my wishes? No, they're all the same. This is the fifth will, and they're all the same. All they do is they come up with this ephemeral quote of, we will do our best efforts to realize the best. As I said to them, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that you're going to go out and sell my guitars? You are going to come out of your office and go around the music shops and say, I've got a Gibson here, and I've got a Washburn limited edition over there, and I've got a brand new Jack Daniels left hand limited edition JD 100, brand new, that is, well, wouldn't I give to have played it, but my children need the money more than I need to unwrap a guitar. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to get an agent. He's going to go, hello, Harry, how you doing there, mate? Yeah, come around. This guy's croaked. Just go in, sort the house out. Yeah, clear it all off. Yeah, if you manage to get 100 quid for everything, just let us know, you know. You know, are they going to get the best agent? Well, how do they know? So, what do you think, good people of England? Should I pay him? Do you think that's an acceptable will? And they are all the same on that. Charities as well. The Red Cross were going to come round. Do you remember this story I was talking about? And they were going to come in. They were so-called going to come after I came out of the hospital in in August 2022. And the Red Cross were going to come around. They were going to clear all the furniture out because the legs were giving way rapidly then. So this was pre me losing the use of the legs, and I was still stumbling around. But of course, they would just go like that, you know. and down I would go, and clunk, clunk, clunk. How I didn't die from the head injuries has been a miracle. And this is the thing, I mean, you know, if you're in the miracles, just cure me, okay? Never mind, oh, he collapsed and he just missed the concrete fireplace by that much. Cure me, okay? Just, but anyway. Not God, I'm talking to the guy in the loft. Because there is no God. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. No, there is no God. Well, there might very well be, there probably is, but he would not be interested in mankind whatsoever. Because let's face it, he had to create dinosaurs first to get around to us if he really existed. So, you know, a bit of a trial and error going on there. And somehow I don't think his errors have finished yet. So I think that there's going to be a few more trials going on yet. Considering the way the planet is going, the next iteration of life on this planet should be something like, you know, asbestos dragons who don't need to eat or drink any fluid. Well, I guess we'll just go back to amoeba state for a few more 100 million years and it'll all start again. Time is the scale, you see. We human beings, we measure everything in terms of 80 years. And that's why we look around and we say, well, the tsetse fly only lives a day. You know. Centipede only lives X day, you know. And cats, well, you know, they live 1 year of our years is 7 years for a cat. They don't consider anything above them as a bit more powerful than human beings, and they don't go. So, to something out there, our entire planet lifespan of Big Bang Theory, what is it, 14 billion years ago? I can't remember the theme music there. Might be the blink of an eye to them, you know. Anyway, what was I on about? Yeah, so should we do some lost lyrics stuff? So I've got a new book. I went off talking about my will. So, and as I'm also making these for my children, Dylan and Emily, well, when you hit 18, well, I know you get something at 18 because I've got a separate account for you that I've put aside. But if you hit 20, when you get the realization of Daddy's estate, and you've only got, you know, 10 grand or something in it, and you're wondering where all the rest has gone, now you know. Now you know. So don't collect things, I guess, would be the moral. Or, you know, be careful who you marry might be a better moral, I guess. Takes me back to Judy, really, doesn't it? Judy, if you're hard watching this, I've said it again. I know that you were heartbroken it didn't work out, my darling, but I just liked Alan too much. You lived in a goddamn mansion, okay? And you know what I'm like, you know, what was it Jill said to you? What's his house like? And you go, well, what do you expect? You know, I am, you know, if you're a hobo from 11 to 16, it's pretty obvious you're going to stay a hobo till the day you die. What is interesting about the lost lyrics, well, to me, I don't know if it's interesting to anyone else, is that, pardon me a second, the latest folder I found, which was one in the back of the wardrobes, not in the plastic. Man, you can't believe how many lyrics here. Should I show you? The only trouble is every time I try and take the camera out of the cradle to show you, then I end up clicking the video off. But let's give it a go. Let's see what we can do here. Behind the scenes. Dun, dun, dun. Eat your heart out, George Lucas. Or better yet, give me $1 million. I must tell you something more about solicitors in a minute and what's created my new song. Let me see if I can do it. So that there, that's my, that big bundle there. That was found, and that's my performing repertoire. So at the time I stopped playing live in 2001, that was my pickable set list. That's one of the Lost Lyrics box files there. How can I turn this around? Ooh, cables everywhere. Come on, fingers. And this here, well, that is the Lost Lyric box files that I've been telling you about. But then over there, you see that leaning up there? Oh, and there's the light I'm telling you about. So, and there's some of my collectible CDs there. Japanese limited editions. And these are the files that have now turned up to find them. And here's, if you can see that, songs I'm looking at the moment, and here's those there. Right. Now, if I can just get that back in the cradle. Cat's in the cradle. What you gonna do? Oh dear, that's a little bit zoomy, isn't it? You don't want to be looking at me that close for sure. But which way is that? Nope, that's not the way. Let's try this one here. There, is that better? You can take young children out from under the stairs now. Which is what childcare is like in this game. I was making a point. Now, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I have to be careful how I word things here. When the lawyer was around, well, he's not a lawyer, he's a solicitor. I don't really know what the difference is, but I guess just a 0 on the price of each letter. My mouth is going to stop working, so I mentioned my travails with the National Health Service. And I was saying, do you do medical negligence, etc.? No, it's a bit of a minefield, he said. And I said, well, the last solicitors that I had, I mentioned to them, and what they said was, if I gave them £1,000, they would look through my medical records and then decide whether they would take the case on. I thought that was kind of bizarre. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but here's the thing. What happened was I was in a NHS hospital last November for my coronary issues, which are disassociated from my neurological disease issues. When it rains, it really pours, you know. I mean, I get the message, you know, we're writ large. The guy attacked me in the consulting room. The consultant attacked me, came in with a pair of scissors. He was trying to cut these off because I was making these videos. And the NHS were still denying at that point that there was anything wrong with me at all. And as you can see, there's nothing left of me now. And if you look at my montage videos, I was photographing these. So you can see how my body was wasting away. They no longer deny it anymore. Come on, let's get it. And he just grabbed my... I said, get the heck off of me. No, you don't need this. Huh? I mean, try it yourself, as I've said before. Go into a bus station this... Well, I mean, don't do this. But, I mean, can you imagine if you went into a bus station this afternoon and went, oh, hello, Harry. Grabbed hold of his wrist or her wrist, produced a large pair of scissors, and then tried to cut something off her wrist. You don't need that friendship bracelet. You don't need that watch. You know the drill. You go to jail. I said, I fought him off. I'm in a wheelchair. Fought him off the best I could. I said, get me out of here. I want out. So he wheeled me out into the waiting room. He said, well, what? Oh, and he said, what am I going to write down? I said, well, you write down that Mr. Murphy curtailed the appointment because he was violently attacked by whoever you are. And so for his personal safety, he asked to be wheeled to a place of where there were witnesses. All right, he said, and he wheeled me out and just left me in the waiting room. Anyway, 10 minutes later, I guess he thought to himself. And he came out and he attacked me again in the waiting room of the hospital. I'm not writing that down, he said. I said, leave me alone. Come on, he said, I'm not going to write that down. Say something else. I said, just go away. Leave me the hell alone. Screaming at me, and his face is going purple. He came over and again, right up close to my face, and I just started screaming for help. I just went, help, literally, help, 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 or yelling for help, how you want to do it. Everyone in the waiting room looks around, what the heck's going on? This guy is huge, and there's me in a dressing gown, in a wheelchair, as emaciated as you can. My liver was shot then, and I was bright orange because I was still trying to eat food and drink liquid at that time. And on about the 28th help, some doors opened and these NHS people came out of their offices, and two came over and this big burly lady dragged him off of me. I don't know if I don't want to turn the camera around again, but I don't know if you did notice, if you rewind the video, you may have seen on the table there's 2 CCTV mini cameras there. Are you worried now, Mr. Solicitor? And but I always have one of those with me when I go into the hospital, and I also have a voice recorder. So I recorded all this. I'll speed the story up. When I got the medical report through of that, it just said, Mr. Murphy decided not to proceed with the procedure. He says he is no longer suffering from blackouts. No further contact is needed. I mean, just absolute garbage. And this woman had seen what happened. She said, what's going on here? I said, he just attacked me in here. It took 7 hours for an ambulance to come and get me out of there. I was falling out the wheelchair at one point at 6-year-old boy, and all this was captured on here. Where I'm going with this is this disc here is the mini disc that contains all of that on there. So even when you can't see it, you can hear clearly what's happening there. You can hear the scuffles, and you can hear me screaming for help and everything like that. You can hear me explain. But that's not in the medical report. So certain solicitors who might batten down the hatches when they sleep at night are going to charge me £1,000 to read a medical report and then decide whether we're going to take the case. But the medical report doesn't, and I'm saying to them, I've got CCTV, I've got it on video. You don't need me to give you £1,000 to read the medical report because it ain't in there, but I've got film footage of it. And there were plenty of witnesses, all in the waiting room there. Now, this is the way we operate. For £1,000, we'll go through your records and then decide if we can take the case. So me being me, I said, well, okay, I said, you give me £1,000 and you give me a copy of your case records and I'll go through them and see how many cases you've won, and then I'll decide whether I will give you my business. They did not take too kindly to that. But you can see my point. They could have lost every case they ever had. They might be, as I said to them, you might be crap. I said, you might never won a case in your life. I mean, that's not bad money, is it? I mean, anyone out there on the internet, I am quite willing for you to give me, I will do nothing for you for £100 a time. How's that for a bargain? In that variance, I've just saved you 900 quid there. Amazing. But here's the serious point, and this is what I said to this guy here, and he was the same. He wasn't going to do it. Yeah, there's complex issues, but there's not complex issues because what we, oh dear, I've used up almost this entire tape. What tape? I still say tape after all these years. I'm so sorry to pull my eyes down like that. What you have here in this country, and it's followed on through from America, I believe, because none of my American friends and subscribers, they all go, you got a $50 million lawsuit there in America, they'd settle out of court in a day. I say, yeah, but we don't have any access to the law in this country. If you have no money, there is no law. Hence the reason I haven't seen my children for a year, because I wasn't going to pay £7,000 in solicitor's fees to win a case for me to see my children. My children don't forgive me for this. And Dylan and Emily, by the time you're able to read this, I hope you understand, because I can't tell you that I'm dying. What am I supposed to do? So when you say, well, why didn't you get solicitors, Daddy? You've got plenty of money. I have no money. My money is your money. There's no cash point machines in heaven. It would have been a Pyrrhic victory for me to spend all that money on solicitors just to be allowed to see you during the holidays, because I'm now too ill to do any more than a week at a time, when I wasn't expected to see last Christmas in any case. So I would just put £7,000 of your money in the solicitor's pocket, and you would still have had to go back to where you are now, only with someone. And if you think they're angry and unpleasant now, imagine how they would be. And so that's why I had to walk away from it, guys, even though it's breaking all three of our hearts. And it's even worse for me because I know the story and you don't. But anyway, you will have my passwords on your 18th birthday, which will access these private messages, I hope. Where on earth was I going? Here's the serious point. And I said to the solicitor the other day, I said, by complex, I mean, what you mean is all these people do is they look through and see if there's an out-of-court settlement, because that's all they're interested in these days. What have we got here? Have we got something here? Can we get an out-of-court settlement? Is there something here that we can then write to the hospital trust, to the council, to the football club, whoever it might be, and say, we settle out of court for this amount. And then for a couple of hours' work, they got 30% of the settlement. Easy money. And they're not interested in justice. And this is why justice doesn't seem to be get done. And why this is so serious, as I pointed out to it. This is one of the reasons why Weinstein got away with it for so long. Because everyone was settling out of court and taking the money, and it wasn't out in the public arena. And so the people that maybe never went to the lawyers, that had atrocious, hideous things happen to them. Right? Oh, well, but it's my word against his. Now you know that it is your word and 100 people's against his, and it's down. But when these solicitors allow out-of-court settlements, it doesn't reach out so that more comes out from that. And then you get the cynics when it finally does come out. You can hear, I'm afraid, that my mouth is going, can't you guys? And they say, well, they're all coming out the woodwork now, they can smell money. Well, I mean, that is, the reason they're coming out now is because people took money firsthand. So what I would like, let's not get wide-ranging, but here's an idea that we'll put out here. If I did live long enough, isn't it amazing? For maybe 30 years, I'm so sorry, about 30 years, certainly 20 at least, since I stopped playing live. People have been, or were, because all my friends unfortunately died even before I did. Boy, talk about cursed. They wanted me to stand for local elections down here and get into politics. But I was never really political. My songs are social commentaries. I don't think of them as political because I've lived under many different governments and many different shades of blue and many different shades of red, from dark red to pale red and from dark blue to devil dark blue. And very little has changed in that time. Children are still being let down by the social services system, and that's gone on through all the governments. You know, yes, it's only been Labour Conservative, but it's been different prime ministers. I mean, you know, have we got a new prime minister today yet? You know, it must have been a week since we changed them. And now that I really need the party that I would have formed, anyway, there you go. I'm just not a lucky person. But if you're going to be settling out of court, this might be an idea if anyone out there wants to take this on. If there's an out-of-court settlement, how about we come up with a system where 5% of any out-of-court settlement has to go through to an organisation that funds legal aid, because there's no legal aid in this country, so that people who have no access to the law might be able to get access to the law. So if you were whatever and you get a $12 million settlement, okay, that's all been done, settled out of court, but let's take 5% of that, and that's £600,000 through. You know, and if your garage mechanic didn't do a very good job on your car, and there's been an out-of-court settlement because he doesn't want the bad publicity, and he's given you 150 quid, well, then let's have 5% of that 150 and into a legal aid organisation, so that people, I mean, the waiting list, this is a true story, the waiting list for a family court legal aid solicitor for me, Dylan and Emily, and people of England, was 7 months, and the court hearing was in 3 months. There was one in the entire southwest, one. And it's all right for these people to say, well, you can do it over the country, but they didn't want to know. They only wanted, and none of the others want to know. So we're right saying, well, no, but you can use any legal aid solicitor in the country. No, you can't. You can only use the ones that say yes. So when the government comes up with all this stuff, it's all just nonsense. I don't think we've got any time left for me to do anything. We might have even already gone over the 30 minutes. I can't see, 28 minutes. Okay, well, here's some of the stuff that's in the legal aid. The other pile. So in the new book, I mean, you got that big swelter of material that was the 20th of June. And again, whenever people say, oh, you lost all these lyrics and you come up with all these things, well, 20th of June, I wrote 17 songs that day. So you don't need to lose too many days worth of that. And then this is a 1980s folder. So I'm finishing off some of these. And that's I Love You From Afar. When did I write that? I thought it said I wrote that in 2025. I've got it the wrong way round though. I wrote it the 1st of March 1989 at 2025. So I'm finishing some of these off. I used to think about my early material like this as kind of naive and everything. But when I was typing some of them up last night, I thought, well, you know, that it actually works in that context. It's only because I've, you know, kind of evolved and elaborated And so you got In Search of Hell's Grand Reward, a 2.5 hour long song, or The Fair Angel of Sherborne, this big poetic sweeping working with. But I don't mean it derogatory when I say naive, but I was looking at one, isn't it? I won't be able to find it here now, I guess. Okay, well, here we go. Perfect example. So we're going back to 1983. I showed my daughter this on the telephone last night, so I wrote that in 1983, my handwriting there. And I said to Emily, I wrote that song before your mother was born. And then I pointed out to Emily that I've written 4,000 songs since she was born, so you've got to put these things in perspective. But that kind of amused me. 40's on the horizon. And here, I found this shot the other day in this folder, this is the earliest known photograph of me, which is taken by my then manager, manager for a day, Crook, in, I can do the maths, 88. And here's another one from the same photo shoot, which I've used to write a song on the back of. The originals are long gone, but I guess he's got them. But I showed that to my daughter last night, and I said, this is Daddy as a young man, because they'd never seen me as a young man. I said, that's what I was like when I was on stage. I said, so I used to look. I'm watching my computer game, Daddy. No, that's fair enough. But it's like this, as I was saying the other day, he kind of wanted me to be like a kind of Woody Guthrie kind of thing, I guess, But of course, as you know, I work in various different formats, so the Woody Guthrie is okay if I'm doing something like Nebraskan drama or something like that, if you want to go that way, or one of my diatribes against lawyers and corrupt systems and corrupt politicians, etc. But then I'll strap on a guitar and I'll belt out, one of my punk numbers like Cold Winds or, Dead Dreams or something. Like Dead Dreams, man, I haven't played that in 40 years. I've got a hankering to play that now. So I wrote this, Tracy, and it's, this was my 34th song apparently, because Murph Music, which was the, this was this guy here, so I set up, and I had all my music, and I did this studio session, and when I went back the next day, he copyrighted, co-copyrighted, it was Chuck Berry all over again, with chess and everything, Buddy Holly with Petty, all of a sudden there's two, and I'll quote Chuck Berry, as he said about Maybelline. I was on my own in a room when I wrote it, and I never heard of this guy, and then the record comes out, and there's another guy there. But this kind of works, so Tracy. And I can still hear the music, and I say that you'll be mine. It was I think it was D7 up to G. It was interesting looking at the music on these and seeing how many sevenths I used to sing it. Of course, my voice was up there then, So, say that you'll be mine. I think it was D7 to G7. Everything will be fine. Put me to the test. Feel my tender caress. C7, Tracy. And why doesn't it work? So I'm saying it's kind of naive and everything, but that's just how you feel if you're a young boy in love. That's just kind of how you work. So. But what is, and then on the back side of it, I finished this off yesterday. A young girl's lying in a bedsit somewhere, staring through empty eyes at the ceiling. The room is almost empty, just a bed and a broken chair. She got nothing left inside or out. We're stealing. On the floor before her bed, there's a picture of her folks. Got a cross around her neck to ward off harm. And that's all I wrote. I finished the song last night, so that's really what. Nearly out of time. This was interesting. This is from a recipe book I wrote. There, you didn't know I just did songs and I also found a letter the other day. Will I find it now? I don't know where I put it to. I'm not going to make it in time. I found a postcard, so I'm now able to date my time. Yeah. I'll have to do another. I also found Steve Core's songbook. Steve Core, I'm so sorry. 3rd of March 1982 from the bed set. So now I'm able to put dates on the bitter reality materials and everything. He wanted me to put music to them and sort of fine-tune the lyrics. But I found a card in here. Oh, that's a studio. Here you go, rip-off, right? So here's the studio recording sheet from my first ever studio session in '86. Look at this. 12 hours dubbing in session musicians. Right, drummer, transport, £8, bassist, £5, external musicians, £32. But the thing is, I had to pay that, but I overdubbed the drums, I overdubbed the bass, because they were garbage, you know? The guy at the recording studio, he used to do music lessons and stuff, you know, training lessons, so he got them to play. Here we go, so I now know when I left Chester House in Chard, the 27th of April 1983. Guys, I'm out of time. You've been so kind and generous for your time. Love yourself, love everyone you know.